Good afternoon, one and all. How are you this Tuesday afternoon of the 19th of March, 2019. This is High Noon Live Draw. Today we are Tuesday afternoon of the 19th of March, 2019. This is High Noon Live Draw. Today we are and that was me on YouTube. Sorry about that, folks. Just want to try and share this out on Facebook. I've been having trouble lately sharing since last night, sharing out on Facebook. I don't know why. Content is no longer available. Your content requested cannot be displayed right now. It may be. Okay. These morons at Facebook seem to want to try and limit stuff. Let's see whether I can do this another way. Control C. Oh. Right to Facebook. Stuff is getting put up. It's just not showing it for some reason. Okay. Okay, anyways, this is High Noon Live Draw. We are drawing Catwoman from DC Comics today, plus an extra character. This character will be from the Crossverse, Cross Comics. I do hope you will enjoy. I'm going to switch over to my other account or my other camera so you guys can all see. So my drawing. I'm just gonna do one other thing before we get started so we are not disturbed. I'm turning the volume down on my phone. So let's see how many people are actually watching. Says one. Oh, that's good. So hello, Bob. I'll be reading Tower of God, so don't mind me. No problem. We can't see you reading it and ignoring us. Yeah. Want to turn me down there, mother? Wherever you put it. Be here, though. I know, I'm just teasing you a little bit there, Bob. Probably on the coffee table. Good for you. should we get? So hopefully people will enjoy this. This is going to be a bit of a mod of a cover, Catwoman cover from. It's number 8, and it's from like the '90s. Back when comics were $1.50 in the U.S. or $2 in Canada. You know, it seems I'm working on the background first, but it's key to the placement of the one character. So, well, both characters. 'Cause- Hey, Bob. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, hey, hey. Okay. What's the difference? Well, I'll show you at the end. Plus, it's more mimicking. That's not will be a bit off, obviously. Between normal Catwoman and Plus. Well, the Plus is one of my characters. So there is a secondary character on this reference that I'm using, but I'm using it as a stand-in for my character. This will just be a normal Catwoman. It'll be the. I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to do the costume of the '80s or the '90s that's on this cover, or the more recent um, version. I personally like the '90s version better. Okay. Uh, hey Rick, what do people in Canada what do people go in Canada to see? Like, what do tourists want to see there? Well, I guess it would depend on the area of Canada that you're in. You know, Canada is a fairly big country. Um, Probably in this area, and again, it would probably be determined by the time of year. Probably any time of year would be the CN Tower, because for the longest time it was the tallest freestanding structure around um, in the world. So that's probably a good tourist thing. Uh, Probably in BC, there's like a Hollywood North. It's become like Hollywood North. So there'd probably be that there. Also in Ontario, Toronto is the province's capital, but Ottawa is the nation's capital, which is also in Ontario, which is a few hours drive away. So can you sing the Canadian anthem? Not completely. I don't know all the words. I know that's bad. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee, our home and native land. And I'm getting the tune all wrong. But here, I can bring it up. Easy enough. Oh, leave me alone, mother. And of course, in Vancouver area or maybe even on the East Coast, people would there'd be stuff for people would want to see too. Touristy, stuff, going into the onto the ocean. Okay, let's see what you guys. Okay, let's see. Goes oh Canada, we are home and native land, true patriot love in all our sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land, glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. And I got the tune wrong there. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. And that's it. They're the English. They've got the same thing in French. Uh, there's a couple on second and third verse as I go down the page here. Or more to it, or can be more to it, which is cool. I don't think I've ever seen these words. Below are slightly different versions of the second and third stanzas in the course. Uh, Here's, I guess it's a second verse here, which I've never seen before, and the third. So I'll do those the best I can. Oh, Canada, where pines and maples grow, great prairies spread, and lordly rivers flow. How dear to us thy broad domain, from east to western sea. Thou land of hope for all who toil, thou true north, strong and free. That's, I guess, the second verse. Hey, Lorenzo. They wanted to hear the Canadian national anthem. And Hey Bullet. And there's a bunch of different stuff I've never seen here. I'll just sing it out. Oh, Canada, beneath thy shining skies, may stalwart sons and gentle maidens rise to keep thee steadfast through the years. From east to western sea, our beloved native land, our true north, strong and free. And the last part that you wouldn't have heard, ruler supreme, who hearest the ruler. Oh, okay. I get this one. Sorry, I gotta start over. Ruler supreme, who hearest humble prayer, hold our dominion within thy loving care. Help us to find, O God, in thee a lasting rich reward, as waiting for the better day, we stand on guard. And that's the last of that verse, or whatever you want to call it. Sorry for any of those people out there who think my singing's horrible and I've subjected them to the worst thing that they could ever have heard. Okay. Now let's get no, it wasn't standing. Blue Moon sounds better, says Bob. Okay, I gotta go back up, catch up with the chat. I don't know mine. Bullet PEI has tons of festivals. Anna of Green Gables. Yeah, that's a good series and movies. Raven says a lot of people won't sing on stream. You're now cooler than all of them. Thank you. Bob says he agrees. Raven says awesome singing. Bob says Blue Moon sound better. Bob says, are you standing, Rick? I said that. Bullet says, I went to PEI once, and there were tons of signs, both Japanese and English. It's a very popular tourist spot for Japan, it seems. My mom's in to say something about my singing.
No. I can't get the chat out of my computer.
No, well, that's not my fault.
It says hiding it on the live stream.
Well, I don't know why. It shouldn't.
Disable, pardon me, on live stream.
Well, everybody else is getting the chat, so
I'm not.
I don't know why. Anyways, sorry about that. Raven says, I can feel Rick's love for Canada in his singing. Yes, I am a patriot. I am a true Canadian. Eh? Thank you, Raven. Yeah. Bob says, I know a little bit of the communist anthem. Lorenzo puts up a maple leaf. A couple highs to Lorenzo. Hello, Lorenzo. Bullet says, my pants are getting tighter. I'm not sure why. Raven says, Bob. Oh, Bob saying hi to Bullet and Raven. Model says, that does it. I'm moving to Canada. Bob, with a question mark from Santa Raven. Bob says, trying to lose weight? Raven says, I think I'll change my name to Canadian Raven. Eh? It's mostly in the crotch. Okay, I think I know what's happening there then, Bullet, and we don't need to go there. Okay, Bob says, Raven, you seem weak without your wrench. Bob says, Bob the Canadian sounds good. Raven says, singing is the wonderful. It brings people together. Yes, it does. Bob says, only Canadian people in this case. Yeah, Bob says, hi, Rick's mom. Santa Raven says, hello, Rick's mom. Bob says, hi, Model. And, of course, Model says, hello, Bob. Hey, Bob. Okay, and now we're all caught up with the chat, and we can get on with this lovely drawing. There's a hello back to the people that, well, everybody will say. Josh the Pope Crow. I was told, well, then you're on the wrong day. And the wrong channel. Canadian. No, this is a Christian channel. Canadian Christian channel. Swiss channel. Swiss channel. Hey, Josh, we are mods. We can see what you deleted. Resistance is useless. Yes, you mods can, but the people that Or not mods can't. So this could be a good thing. Joshua Hughes actually comes in. Okay, can we stop the pounding upstairs? Joshua is leaving everyone. Please say goodbye to him. He has. That's not nice. Especially to say to your fellow compatriot in the cult of Raven. Okay, I'm going with the old suit. Jeez, the trolls are trolling the trolls now. I'm not sure whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. Such is the circle of life, Rick. Says motto. My cat is not my friend. Hey Rick, now I know you can draw lollies very well. Oh, you mean good-looking women? My cat is not my friend, says Joshua. My cat is very annoying. A black friend, and because he's not. Cat lives matter. Uh, oh, the lolly I'm talking about is Tanya. Oh, okay. Try becoming friends with Rick's cat. That might be hard, seeing as how Well, who knows where Joshua lives? I thought it was Australia or over in that part, but he has not confirmed or denied it. He says he lives in the Wakandan state of of the Canadian Australian outback. I doubt I could do a better job than Rick. Oh, for the lolly? Lollipop, lolly. Lollipop, lollipop. Lolly, 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 lollipop, lollipop, pop, 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 pop. Hey, Rick, have you ever heard of a song going up the country? No. Or you mean growing up in the country? That sounds, if that's what you meant, sounds vaguely familiar. Uh, going up the country. Okay, then definitely not. It's from 1987. Really nice. Oh, maybe. Did you find it here on YouTube? Don't get mad, Raven. It's hard to. Where is Kat? She should be here. She keeps avoiding joining your stream. Rick, she's probably at work. It is 11:36 where she is. Of course, I'm only guessing. Of course, EVS is on. Uh, okay, I'm not telling you. I didn't think you were. Uh, okay, so there we have Catwoman pretty much drawn into this thing. Yes, Mom.
Just kind of come in halfway to see the chat and halfway to ask whether anybody's heard from Brandon.
Well, he's working, so he's got a job, so he's dead on his feet most of the time. From what I get nowadays. Is it? Now Bob's like, now back to Mangus with an ambiguous title. Said to Raven, Frick, you need to sing Sin de Leon. I told the cult of Raven that you were. Please don't make me laugh. I don't know no Celine Dion songs. Who's Celine Dion?
No idea.
Oh, come on, Mom. I know who she is. She's a French Canadian singer. She had a big number back in the
on the
Titanic.
countryside.
No, I wouldn't say country.
Celine Dion?
Yes, Celine Dion. You're by country. You're probably thinking Shania Twain.
That kind of range.
Yeah, she's nowhere near like thing. Yeah, I don't mind her. Shania Twain. I actually got one of her CDs. I'm just here. I'm here. Just got done doing some yard work. You want to come in, Elric? You can try the link, see whether it works, and if not, well, tomorrow, I need to prep for my 150 sub milestone today. Oh, cool. Okay, that's just horrible. Bob's giveaway is you have piqued Bob's interest. Bob's always up for a giveaway, as long as he's the one might be getting. So, what are you doing for your 150th person giveaway or celebration? Hello, Nerdy TV. And if anybody wants to check out a really good stream, last night I was on Good Dog Press, for those that may not know. And he opened up a package I had sent to him from stuff that he had bought on the Sunday night auctions just over a week ago. And Lorenzo, if you want to pop in, if you can, feel free to. The link's there, so. I'm doing good, Nerdy. How are you? I think I'm not sure they're asked. Hello, Toytastic. Thank you very much. As you can tell, this is Catwoman, and this is going to be my character, um, which I will reveal who it is in probably a few short minutes, or maybe I'll wait till the end. Well, maybe not the end, but after I'm done drawing, inking. And how are you today, Toytastic? Uh, oh, cool. You got a video going up later today? Or the next day or so? Ah, cool. Sensei taught me how to make him coffee and clean his house and wash his car. Was your sensei Mr. Miyagi? Said to Raven. Let's see. Uh, uh, nope, my sensei is John Dillon. He taught me to be a maid. Don't think he helped you much then. Uh, okay, so. Now I am the world #1 maid. Raven, are you secretly telling us you need to be rescued? Made in Japan. You were made in Japan? Wow. Like twice for yes and once for no. Oh, hey, Drawn Talk. Or Tyler, as I might say. It's too late. It was a joke. Well, Bob, I already knew that Santa meant saint in there. Santa Raven says, I am a professional manga artist in the future. Uh, Gonna go back in time. John just put up something. Mail-in, that is. So, how are you, draw and talk? He needs to go back to gaming the system. Oh, John. Uh,
Hey there.
oh, hey, Lorenzo.
I'm sorry to be startle you. It's,
I heard the click and then, okay, what's that? And I go to look and then I saw the picture.
I never know if I should join if I show up late, but I didn't even get the notification at first.
Yeah.
And then,
If I'm live, I've usually put a link in Twitter in that group. So if it's there, you can join.
yeah, I didn't get a beep. Well, I didn't want to. Yeah, I didn't want to startle you. I ended up startling you.
Don't worry
I
about
mentioned
that.
something in chat. Next time, I might give you a little text in chat. Sorry about
Well,
that.
lots of people have jumped in. I don't usually get startled like that. I don't know why I
Oh,
did
it's that
this.
Slee Stack avatar.
Lorenzo hasn't left. Lorenzo's right here. He's in the panel now. So how are you today?
Oh, I'm doing quite well. I don't know why I don't get any sort of beep on my computer when, even though I said I accept notifications for Chrome, I don't get any sort of beep or anything when there's a YouTube stream. And I didn't even see the notification on my screen for your stream. So I joined a little late, and then I'm in the panel really late.
Yeah, that's all right.
An hour late.
I usually go about 2 hours. Sometimes I haven't.
I think I've been turned on a reminder too, and I didn't see that you were on. I mean, because I saw you were going to be on, and so I set the reminder. I don't know what's up with YouTube. It's maybe
Well,
I just didn't
the
notice.
thing that you have to remember, Monday through Friday, almost without fail, I will be here at noon Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, same time zone.
You know,
I'm in the Great Lakes region.
usually if I'm not going to be here, there's a reason, and I've usually said ahead of time. Or heck, there was a time a few weeks ago. I think there was something wrong with my internet. I just made a quick video, uploaded it, via my phone.
Yeah.
And said, "Okay, I'll be on later. My internet's acting up."
Yeah, that's cool.
And I do that even at noon, and I did it for like about 5 minutes after noon, or just so my subscribers know what's going on, because Monday through Friday,
it's like
they
clockwork.
expect me here at noon.
Yeah, it's like clockwork. Mike used to have a show at the same time as you. Sometimes, Mike. Miller,
Yeah, his whatchamacallit.
For a while, it was at the same time as you. I mean, like, I think it started off not being at the same time than it was for like I don't know, for a while. Then I don't think it is anymore.
No, you're probably talking cross examinations.
Yeah, cross examinations.
Yeah, it seems to be always up in the air when he has that. What time of day?
Yeah, he streams a lot, but I don't know if it's ever at a consistent time. I have a hard time keeping track.
Yeah.
But he's got his wife and kids, and I
Yeah.
could see him. If he's making money off of streaming, I could see him doing that. I mean,
Yeah. Well, now that he's got like 5,000 subs, you know, so
yeah,
I'm sure he's making a little bit, maybe not an extraordinary amount.
on cross examinations, people can just type in the chat without using super chats, and he reads a lot of them. Now, on
Yeah.
some of the shows that get a bigger audience, chat goes by so fast.
Yeah. It's
There's
hard to.
also Streamlabs, which uh, I've heard of bad things happening with the super chats, where the sometimes YouTube will take the money away if they don't. Somebody gets a little controversial.
Yeah,
Not
I
saying it would
heard
happen to
something.
you or something if you ended up with super chats. Because but I'm seeing this happen to people. Whereas I think Streamlabs is what a lot of people are using as an alternative now.
Yeah. Well, Streamlabs, you can create a tip jar and people can tip you without even,
You don't have to be a big
you don't
channel.
have to be monetized or anything.
Yeah, you don't have to be monetized like with super chat.
And I've thought of doing that. I've looked into it. I've downloaded it. It's just, it's learn. I think it's a little difficult to learn to get everything in place just right.
Yeah, if you gotta run that at the same time as Google Hangouts, you might I don't know how much resources it takes up. If you'd seems like you've had some issues lately with your computer, so I'm not sure if it would cause more issues or not. I
Yeah.
don't know what's been going on with why it's been crashing. But maybe once you work it out, you'll know
Yeah.
what's going on.
I think it does it every so often. I think almost everybody's it does so often. And then I'm using a laptop, and I think it's just the way I got things set up. I hit it just I bump it, not hit, but bump. Just the
Oh,
wrong
okay.
way.
Well, then, if it's just because it's because you pump it, then maybe then having Streamlabs going wouldn't be a factor. Then
Yeah, I don't think, anyways.
I thought maybe it was crashing because you need like more RAM or something, but that's
No,
not the case.
this one I think's got like 8 gigs of RAM,
Oh wow, okay.
8 gigabytes DDR4 RAM.
Is that the faster RAM?
DDR4 is, I think, the most
Yeah,
recent type. So
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to get my stream going, so I'm not an expert at all. I don't know
yeah,
what
well, neither am I.
I'm just walking
I
my way
know
through this conversation.
I know computers a little bit, and like I could build my own.
I mean, some people go for 12 gigs or whatever, but I think 8 gigs is pretty good.
Oh yeah,
I mean, 12 gigs, I don't know, think some of the high end gaming PCs might have like 12 gigs, but I don't think you need that for YouTube.
no,
I mean, uh, I
you
mean,
shouldn't
I'm using
anywhere.
a Windows 7 laptop, so
Yeah, that would be good. I'm pretty sure you'd be able to do streaming with that, no problem.
yeah,
Just use Google Hangouts.
yeah, I'm just showing up on different people's streams and trying to be positive and be a positive force and the in comicsgate and the comic scene, and and then maybe people can come on my channel too, and then I can promote their channels.
Oh
It's a
yeah, hey,
bunch of smaller channels that might not get as much attention as they deserve.
Yeah. Let's see. John's in the chat, and he's saying, "I'm working on the Canadian Buckler one shot, page 2. Cool." He says it looks epic. Oh, that is good. But yeah, it's a lot easier doing this than what most people realize. I started off not having a clue. I just watched and learned from people, and if I needed anything, I just went and YouTubed it. How do I
Yeah.
do this on YouTube? I watched a video on how to do a video on YouTube.
Yeah, I did the same thing. It was how to use Google Hangouts on YouTube, and it was somebody who was a Spanish language instructor, but it was all in English except for she talked to a student and said "hola" or something, and everything else was in English, and it was very useful because it just showed people how to use the. Oh, here it is. It's kind of like a telephone at the top of the screen. I
Yeah.
noticed, and I was like, "Well, that's easy." And I think she showed how to was it what do they call it? White box people
Yeah.
showed that as well. It's like, oh, I could do that.
Oh, Bullet's asking John how many pages it will be. I think he said 4 pages the other day for the Canadian Buckler short story.
I'm thrilled about that drawing. I need to go that I won on the auction. I'm going to have to go to my PayPal site and actually pay for it. But it's going
Yeah.
to be it's just going to be amazing, and real thankful to John for that. And yeah, John Dillard, his Dillard Draws channel is excellent. I recommend everybody checking that out. Model 316's in the chat. He's got an excellent show as well.
Yeah.
And this is one of those shows that a lot of, and then here's Cross Comics and a lot of the same people, if you like those, those people, they're, some of those people are in the chat here, and it's cool. There's like there's this kind of like this alternative community within Comicsgate, some of these smaller channels.
Yeah, trying to make a name for ourselves.
Yeah, and there's different like say different communities within Comicsgate. It's not like and then there's like then there's kind of this overarching community. Yeah. I know some people don't like the word community, but for
I don't know what's wrong with the word community for this,
I don't think so.
It speaks something good, so.
That doesn't mean that every individual, anybody who's an individual, everybody's also an individual, and sometimes somebody will do something silly, and that doesn't mean the entire community is responsible. I think I'm being very vague here. I'm just saying it's hypothetically somebody, because I think maybe that's the problem some people have with the word community is that one person's actions can be held against everybody else.
Yeah, but that's like
I don't
saying
think that's right.
You live in some sort of there different communities within the real world. Nobody's ever responsible. The house down the street from you is part of your community.
Yeah.
Just because somebody in that house murdered somebody doesn't mean
exactly. I remember. There's been times people have been murdered in my community. It's not that often. I mean, my local community. I'm living in the Great Lakes region, and somebody in my town was murdered before. That doesn't mean that we're all murderers. In fact, our community discourages that sort of thing, and it's fairly rare. But it's something that happens when especially when a city starts getting a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So.
I'm just using that as a simple analogy for community.
Exactly. I was thinking that myself.
And maybe the example within the community is extreme, or
Yeah, I mean,
you can even use a thief or whatever, or any sort of stuff like that. You could use any
bad
action.
Yeah, so it's like and the thing that's like like one person's got this political view. Well, that doesn't mean everybody. People are all over the charts as far as politics within Comicsgate. Doesn't mean everybody has the same view, or everybody's quite different, and yet
You have one
they
thing for
have these basic,
Comicsgate. We have one thing in common. We
yeah,
want comics to be good.
yeah,
And most of us are creators, and we're both. The thing is, we're both creators. A lot of us are creators and fans, or however you want to say it. Consumers,
yeah.
because
That's
we go out and buy the comic books. That's how most of us got interested in comics, to become creators. We went out and bought the product.
And that's something that didn't really the consumers are extremely important, but I think the difference with Gamergate is I think it's really these AAA games are so complex to make that not everybody can be a game developer. I mean, not everybody can do that. Even if people know some coding for like web coding, that's different than making a game.
Yeah,
I think there are some programs that for making games, and those might be worth looking at, but still, I think it takes
the most
a lot more than draw,
individual.
getting the right pens and paper.
I was going to say the most of the average individual, Joe Schmo consumer of games can do is get an idea and, flesh it out. And then it's taking it to, some developer. But I think you might, developer or the consumers, they might be able to do a PC version, but trying to get it on a console or something like that, that's completely different.
Yeah.
There's lots of, shall we say, indie for the indie game market. There's probably lots of PC stuff, but there's very little game console indie stuff.
Yeah. It seems like Steam's got a lot of indie games on there, but I don't know. I think the PlayStation has quite a few.
The other one that you can do indie games for is maybe Android nowadays.
That's true. Unfortunately, so many of those games end up having like a bunch of ads in there. I mean, or a bunch of not like not ads, but like they want people to. Oh gosh, I'm blanking on what's called now. Like
the purchase,
loot box type things. Purchase. Yeah. Oh, Bullet says, "'Tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them." And there's even a question mark.
Take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing, I think he meant them, the end of them, and by opposing the end of them.
Is that like Shakespeare or something?
I'm not sure. Some Elric says something in consumers.
Oh yeah,
saying that has changed a bit lately. Consoles like Switch, PS4, Xbox One actively seek out indie developers. I did not know that.
I think PS4 has. I'm on the Xbox, but I think PS4 had like a lot of indie games to the point where some people were saying, "Oh, some of these are much better than some of them are much worse." That's some controversy going on.
You're always gonna get stuff, and you're gonna get bad.
Well, it's the same way, I guess, with the AAA games. A lot of people they hear about like these AAA games coming out. A lot of consumers aren't even interested in them. They've gotten so woke these days. And it's people are like, well, I don't want to be heavy-headed, hammered over the head with politics. I just want to I just want to play a game.
Yeah. The only thing I was thinking about for the consoles on Bullet was I didn't think the coding stuff for them would be out there, to put on the CD and say here to somebody where you can do something for a PC, and put it on a disc and sell it easily, and it'll work. Getting it, but getting it out, I don't know. It's too
Yeah,
complicated.
and I guess, and then things have to be properly ported if they start off on the PC. It's got to be ported so it can play properly with and just even people even navigating the menus and stuff using the controller might be difficult compared to a mouse and keyboard. It has to be set up for a console, and then
Let's see. Ulrich says Sony is censoring Japanese game companies, and Japan is looking for different platforms. Okay.
yeah, I've heard about that. I think even it's gotten to the point where PlayStation used to be that Nintendo was the one that used to censor its games, I think, for a while there, and now I think they've got less censored versions than the PS4 with their Switch nowadays, is what I've heard for certain games.
Yeah, Bullet saying, yeah, very few indie games get mass retail release, but most consoles are now times 86 base, so they are essentially PCs in a box. Yeah, I can agree with.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it used to be that they use like these like RISC processors. I think that's what's called RISC. And those were kind of unique processors. And but the consoles are just mainly using PC parts nowadays.
Yeah.
They're not like advanced beyond what they have on PC. It used to be that the consoles would be sometimes they'd be more advanced than the PCs. But
actually, I wouldn't say that. Most of the time, a computer game was more advanced, but now the games are getting on the consoles to be just as good.
Really, I thought maybe like when the original Xbox or
no,
like,
the game. Most of the games still on PC were better back then.
Okay, I thought maybe they'd be better, and then like a month later they come up with something better for the PC. I'm probably wrong.
I'm going by what I remember, over the last, 20 years.
I think it's still a fairly good starting point for getting a console. Yeah. I think Microsoft and Sony might be selling their consoles for a loss sometimes, like when they're having a sale going on. But then if with Microsoft and I think with Sony too, they have those subscription services that.
Yeah. Well, guess what? They can sell. Well, depending on Microsoft probably gets a cut, some sort of cut. Say it's a game from Microsoft. They probably get some sort of. I would think they get some sort of cut for you using their system. But the coding or allowed to code on it or work on their system. I think you get what I'm saying.
Well, I know that they partner with different companies too. Sometimes, like Microsoft will sometimes partner with an indie game studio, and then maybe that game will be out as an exclusive or exclusive for like for a while. They'll have it out before other platform before the PlayStation has it.
Yeah. Well, take for example, Spider-Man, PlayStation 4. You can't buy a Spider-Man, game that's supposed to work on a PS4 and use it on the Xbox. So there's some sort of coding involved there saying you can only use it on this system or whatever. I think that's what I'm talking.
You don't like make it so that one can like with Unix type operating systems, one can compile those programs to operate on like say Linux, and then a
Yeah.
BSD style Unix, and it's not like that with consoles. Oh, I see. Elric says, yeah, the Switch has more uncensored games. Ironically, because Nintendo has a reputation of being friendly, family friendly. Oh, not sure how that leads to it being more uncensored. I'll have to think about that. Or maybe Elric can explain. And Bullet says, yeah, if you look in the digital stores on the consoles, tons of games are in the $10 to $20 price range. And they range from retro to semi-modern games, but with smaller teams and budgets. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But I didn't realize how affordable they were. That's nice.
Well, the thing nowadays, people are purchasing somebody makes the world, and then you can go and purchase the world, and
Well,
then link it to your.
Oh, you're what are you talking about? I'm sorry.
Well, like takes I guess Skyrim or the best thing or whatever, you know. Sometimes they sell the stuff for the world and all that, and then you can go put in your own characters, your own NPC characters, your own whatever main characters, but you buy the world, and the world's probably the wrong word, but
Yeah,
the
that was kind of throwing me off.
Pardon?
That was what was throwing me off. Is
Oh, we got John in here. Hey, John.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good to see you.
Oh, it's good to see you too. I'm working on the Canadian Buckler page 2. He's doing a backflip off of this building here.
Cool.
Wow.
I've got a question, John. You get not about the buckler so much as the shield himself. You got any of the pages scanned in?
For what?
The Canadian Shield #1?
No, not scanned in. No.
Okay.
Why do you need them?
I was wanting to get them soon. Maybe start trying to color them.
Well, I only have 2 pages done.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure how many you had done. I know you did page 1, and then I think you were doing a page further on in. So that's, I guess, what threw me off to you having how much you had done.
John working on the Canadian Shield?
Yeah, a remastered version.
That sounds interesting.
The definitive version. It's going to be huge.
Because I do have #1 done my patheticness way, and it is available for digital download for $2.50 at the moment. Or if somebody happens to buy a piece of my artwork at the auctions, they get it when they get that too.
That's much more affordable than anything that the big 2 are. Yeah, they're getting really expensive with their comic books. And
well, I figure I'm always going to have the digital cheaper, and that's Canadian too. So because the digital doesn't need to be printed, so
that's like 50 cents American. Just joking.
It's probably like $2 American, maybe $1.
That's a really good deal. That's around like Peter Sameti's prices.
Yeah. Well, his is a bit cheaper than mine, but I figured, if I'm doing digital, the digital's got to be cheaper because,
yeah,
it's not being printed up.
Yeah, a lot of people don't read digital, even if they can go and pirate it. They prefer the original. which is good that people don't pirate. But I'm just saying, there are a lot of people that are kind of fussy about that. And you
Yeah,
do plan on getting
I
your
would
own.
prefer the thing in my hand too, but I think
Yeah.
if it's especially if it's free.
Well, yeah, I guess one really
Yeah,
can't
well, and
compete
it's more,
against that.
and it's not even because it's free. It's because it's free, and I can't afford, $4 or $5 a comic, or $3 or $4.
Well, there's some people who actually do give away their comic. They'll give away like an issue for free to get people interested, and
Yeah,
I can't object to that.
I know. Once I get the Canadian Shield #1 printed up, I'll probably go around to my church. I'll probably give some copies for free for the bookstore, or not the bookstore, the library.
How are we gonna make money if you're giving away for free?
Yeah, well, I'm giving away 1 or 2 copies. And that's after I've already done the crowdfunding and made some money off that.
Nasser did that. He gave it to his comic book store, and then they got kind of bummed out that it got sold, which meant that he actually sold one of his books at his local comic book store, which I think doesn't really seem to be happening all that much with Comicsgate. So that seemed kind of like a good thing, but I don't know if he got any money off of it or not.
Well, and then what I would do is I'll probably go to a bunch of my, depending on how many copies I print up extra. I'll go to all my the Christian bookstores around here, comic book stores, and try and sell them on consignment. Say, this is how much I want. The price isn't marked on this. You decide how much you want to sell it for to make profit,
$80.
Yeah, well.
Oh, I
if
guess to
if
make
they
profit.
Get that.
Yeah, I guess at the end he said to make profit.
So I have a gopher running around in my garage.
You have a gopher?
He's rustling papers and knocking stuff over.
Doesn't sound like he's gophering much.
I know, right?
I bet you wish he'd just go for anything not in your garage.
I wish we'd just go for a hike or something. I was killing a bunch of gophers yesterday because my yard is being overrun with gopher holes. And I think one of them scurried into my garage door because the side door was open.
Is it like playing whack-a-mole?
It's kind of like that, but you just kind of stick the water hose in the hole and then wait with a flathead shovel.
Oh boy.
You see, Rick, I'm drawing this guy. He's pulling the knife out of his pocket here. And as soon as the knife comes out of the pocket, that's when his eyes get real big. He's like, there it is. And he jumps into action.
Yeah, there really needs to be more Canadian superheroes. They was it Alpha Flight, but I never see it at the stores.
Yeah, well, they come and go, Alpha Flight. And what I mean by that is sometimes they've got stuff for them, sometimes they don't.
Oh.
I don't think they're producing an Alpha Flight right now. Comic book. Heck, until what was it, the X-Men cartoon in the 90s, I don't think I had ever heard of Alpha Flight. I heard about it and I'm like, whoa, cool. But whenever mine gets started on a ongoing basis, I'm going to have a lot of Canadian. There's going to be a lot of Canadian heroes.
What heroes did they have from Alpha Flight on X-Men? Because I don't really, I remember the X-Men show, but it's kind of vague because it was so long ago.
They just did an episode where Alpha Flight came to try and get Wolverine back.
Oh, okay.
It was just like a guest appearance for one or two episodes. Puck was on Alpha Flight, Vindicator, Guardian, I think it was.
Oh, really?
Sasquatch. I think the shaman. Yeah, Sasquatch.
Well, it's good that you've developed your own Canadian superheroes. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, if you go with what I know, why make one for the States? Although I got a few characters from the States too.
So, do you think that that was a slap in the face to the Canadians when they tried to come and get Wolverine back, and they said, "No, it's not happening"?
Trying to force him back when he didn't want to go. I wouldn't say it's like forcing somebody to do what they don't want to do is never a good idea.
I'm talking about the writers when they wrote the book. Do you think that's what they had in mind?
What? Slapping somebody in the face?
Insulting the Canadian people.
And I know Alpha Flight is actually run by Department H of Canada.
Was that a spin-off of the X-Men then originally?
I can't say 100% for sure, but I think it was.
I know they would sometimes team up.
Yeah.
I remember people talking about North Star, and they said
oh yeah, he was part of it. And Aurora, I think there was a character called Aurora.
And people were saying that, like, when he came out, that the people wouldn't even know whether or not their parents would still let them read the comic book, and it was a big deal. Now they got like Iceman, and it's like he was 50 years later. He's changed his orientation, and it's like, well, what? I mean, the writers changed it. It's like, what? Yeah. What's going on? And so I don't know, but it's like it sounded like the stories for Alpha Flight were really good, though. Is what I'm getting at. That they had some really good characters there, and
well, as much as I probably hate it, at least for North Star, at least they did it with a lesser known character.
Didn't they? Hadn't he been around only like a short period of time, like maybe a few years, and then they gave him more of a backstory or something? It wasn't like 50 years of Iceman.
No, yeah, it was a lot less time.
And I heard it actually there was actually a storyline involved. It wasn't that he was just like it seems like sometimes they just have a diversity checklist these days. Oh, we're going to make this person left-handed. We're going to call him Lefty. They're not going to give him a personality. We're just going to.
Ew! Why would you make somebody left-handed?
Let's get people into buying the comic book. I don't know. It's just kind of like.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
So, would you consider Wolverine a Canadian superhero, even though he wasn't, invented by Americans?
Even though, yes, I consider him Canadian.
Where's Wolverine live in the comics? What country?
Well, nowadays I think he lives in the States because being part of the X-Men.
But he was from Canada then?
Yeah, he was born and raised in Canada.
Like Celine Dion.
Yeah.
You guys can have her back.
Okay, I guess.
I mean, I don't know. Some people really like her music. I just kind of, yeah.
No, they don't. Nobody likes Celine Dion. They just like Titanic.
Yeah, that was, yeah. Some people like her. I was at a restaurant before and they were playing her.
I'll be honest, I don't even know any other song she does other than the Titanic song.
I don't know.
Neither do
I.
Started
off singing in French, but
no, I think I was watching or listening to an episode of the Howard Stern show. And he was talking about how he went to go see Celine Dion in Vegas, and it was the best show he had ever seen in his entire life.
Was he just trolling the audience, or did he really believe that?
No, he was like, it's amazing. He's like,
Wow.
it's the greatest
Well,
thing
that's-
ever.
Okay, so there's one Celine Dion fan in the world that we know.
Fortunately or unfortunately, there's several fans. Otherwise, she wouldn't have got to the point of most likely, having that song in Titanic. So,
And I'm not saying he's a bad guy or whatever, but you can have Justin Bieber back.
I'm saying he's a bad guy.
But then
I'm not on the fence about it. I'm pretty sure he's a bad guy.
As an honorary American.
did he even leave Canada?
Probably
Yes,
not.
he did.
We did have wasn't he involved with the Canadian? Was with one of the Canadian?
John Kennedy was living in
teams.
New York for a long time, then Los Angeles.
But he owned a Canadian football team, so that's very Canadian.
Yeah, but Canadians don't really play football. So.
Oh, we play better football. Ours is harder.
Are they part of the NFL? They got their own
Harder
league,
to
right?
watch.
You guys have your own league, right? With,
Yeah.
like metric fields, since everything's in
Well,
the
no, I think
meters,
everything.
right?
I don't think there's metric, but we do the yard stuff and all that because we have where you guys have four downs to make 10 yards. We only have 3 tries to make 10 yards.
How come you're playing it wrong?
I think we have a
Do
smaller.
you guys not understand the rules?
I think I read before that that American football started off, and there's a reason it's called American football. Rick, is it started off at Harvard as a couple people a couple teams they like maybe modified the rules for rugby or something,
Yeah.
or it could have been soccer, but I think it was rugby where they modified it at Harvard.
No, I think that somebody was. I think they were playing soccer, and the guy grabbed the ball got kicked towards him, and he ended up grabbing it and running with it, and that's how football started. I think.
There's probably some football trivia expert.
Or that's probably a
just cringing
simplified
now 'cause
version of how it happened. but-
There's probably some trivia expert out there that's going
This
crazy.
is very simple. I'm just gonna look it up online. How about that?
Yeah, we're doing things in we're doing things all,
So let's see.
that's how things were before the World Wide Web, is that people would just have to. I mean, I guess there were some people who had the internet, but it wasn't the World Wide Web until it came out, I think, in the early 90s or late, or maybe very late 80s. It was maybe that they came out with the first web browser, but people didn't have it till the 90s, I don't think.
Well, Windows 95, so probably 90, 95, 94.
Well, Steve Jobs from Apple Computer had made something called the Next Computer, and that was all based around the web, I think. They had this Omni web browser on there. But yeah, well, 95 definitely made things. That was like one of the first Windows operating systems that really, that I think really gave the Mac a run for its money.
So here's this pretty much complete Catwoman. I'm not sure whether it would be a versus or a team up with my character called Cat.
Actually, what was it? Windows 4.0? I think that was actually the one that was really.
Where Windows really took off was Windows 3.0 or 3.1.
Okay. And I think when Windows 95 came out, that was like, I just remember that being like a very revolutionary operating system with the start menu and everything. Made it easier. It was at least supposedly easier to use.
Yeah.
Than it had been previously.
Remember the terrible internet browser NetZero? Net Zero was a company that provided internet service. I think you're thinking of. There was another browser at
Netscape?
the beginning called no Net something.
There was Netscape.
Are you talking about Net 10?
Netscape. But anyways, let's see.
Netscape was like, yeah, that was the one that was real popular for until Internet Explorer came out.
It was actually.
I can't hear anything now.
I think
I
Rick
like
fell off the edge
drawing
of the
today.
world.
He fell off of the tortoise.
He fell off the edge of the flat Earth.
Yeah. What was that
Yeah,
Discworld
so-
that had a tortoise or turtle?
Am I back yet?
Oh, welcome back.
I'm back.
A
Yeah.
little bit.
Okay,
Oh, I see that. Catwoman.
but here's what I used for basic reference for my
But
drawing.
you didn't draw the buildings. You got to draw the buildings.
I said basic reference.
Well, where is she standing on? She's crossing the Grand Canyon then?
I don't know. Building that you can't see off screen. Even on this one, look.
Be lazy,
How
This
did-
Ray.
rope,
buildings.
where's this rope attached to? You don't know. It's down here somewhere.
Completely
Oh,
imaginary
it's-
building.
It's obviously attached to some building because this picture has buildings in it.
I have this thing here on mine, basically, and that. Not to the exact scale. Stop sharing.
Is that a recent cover? You
No,
kinda-
that's back from the 90s.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, that's pretty good. I know they got a. Don't they have like a chick who's? Is that's offensive term? Anyway, don't they have a woman writing writing and drawing Catwoman now?
I don't know who's drawing Catwoman. I'm not even sure what she has an ongoing title at the moment.
Because they had I think they had a woman writing and drawing Catwoman because your boy Zach had I don't even know what the name of his channel is anymore. He keeps changing it. But it used to be Diversity in Comics, and he had featured Catwoman, and it looked like a pretty decent series.
Yeah. But to your answer, Ulrich, yeah, I'll do that character from tomorrow.
Oh, I see. There's that. What is that called? The people walk across
Tightrope.
tightrope. Yeah, like that's what was in La Strada. I think there was a scene in La Strada with a tightrope, and it had it featured one of the people in there was like a strong man. Must have been the woman walking the tightrope because there's I don't know the big bulky guy if that would have worked out well or not. Have any of you guys seen that?
No.
We were talking about strongmen before and how they were how they were influenced behind the comic books. I mean the superhero characters.
Yeah.
And I was saying La Strada was the movie I saw, Italian movie by the famous director Fellini. It had what is that guy's? Anthony Quinn was in there. Even though he's not Italian, even though they had to like dub him into Italian, I think, or for the Italian version.
I ain't seen Anthony Quinn. Anthony Quinn is dead, right?
Oh, I think he's undead. I think he's like an undead.
Because
Probably
he was
like
like he was like one of the first really famous Mexicans that was in American movies.
yeah, he would like play whatever ethnic character there was, whether it be Greek
Yeah,
or
or an Indian. That was him in
now they
Zorba the
wouldn't
Greek, right?
allow. Now actors aren't allowed to act anymore. The Strada means the road. And it's a 1954 Italian drama. That's what Wikipedia says. I really liked it. It was it won an Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film in 1957. In 1992, British Film Institute Directors List of top 10 or cinema's top 10 films. Made that list as well.
And Jonah Arch, yeah, I know the proportions for Catwoman are a bit off. Hopefully, I'll be able to correct it when I scan it in. But
Yeah, you gotta fix her right foot.
Oh, people are still talking about football in the chat.
Oh yeah, I never read the who actually invented football. So. It was a guy named. Let me go back because apparently there was a scrimmage game where they instituted rugby rules into. Let's see here. I'll just read this here. It says. The sport in the United States known as football is more properly called gridiron football for the vertical yard lines that mark the field. It is closely related to two English sports, rugby and soccer, or association football. It originated in the University of North America, the universities, Princeton and Rutgers and Harvard and the like.
Okay.
Playing a soccer-style game with rules adapted from the London Football Association, while a number of other elite Northeastern colleges took up the sport in the 1870s. Harvard University maintained its distance by sticking to a rugby-soccer hybrid called the Boston game. After a match against McGill University of Montreal, the Harvard players decided they preferred McGill's rugby-style rules to their own, and they played their first intercollegiate match with the basic rules of the modern football. And it was Harvard and Yale. Embraced widely as the rugby style. However, the father of what is known as the father of American football today is a guy named Walter Camp. Back in 1876, he graduated as a medical student from Yale, and he played a halfback and served as team captain. And he created the IFA, the Intercollegiate Football Association, and set all of the almost to the letter modern rules this day. So that is Walter Camp.
And I'm looking at this Wikipedia entry that's saying that something about Rutgers and Princeton played a game in November 6, 1869. So I'm kind of confused by this. Maybe it sounds like it was something that kind of developed over time then.
Yeah. Like, it's interesting, because it's interesting to have like a lightning flashpoint saying, oh, this is exactly when it started, but it's probably not that interesting. It's something that kind of happened naturally over a number of years.
So what source were you going off of?
This was, let me see.
Because I had heard Harvard before, and they're
this is history.com.
Oh, there was also an 1875 Harvard Yale game, so so it's all related. Oh, they're mentioning Walter Camp. Is that the guy you were talking about? The father of American football? Yeah. So it all lines up that.
Yeah. He introduced the scrimmage or scrum. He introduced the certain number of downs. He introduced the 11-man team. He introduced the line of scrimmage, the offensive signal calling. He introduced the quarterback position, all that stuff.
Well, so before him, then it wasn't really modern American football until he. Wow, and then the Canadians took it and they modified it, became Canadian football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we added stuff. Well, like I said, we took out one of the tries for the 10 yards, one of the downs. We lengthened the field.
Because you're degenerate. You're degenerates. Sorry. I mean, I don't really care.
We went and made the game harder.
I'm just joking about Canadians being degenerates.
Yeah, we believe.
Hashtag not all Canadians are degenerates. It's kind of funny.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't met a Canadian who's not a degenerate.
Don't they go and take their French fries and ruin them by covering up with junk that doesn't belong on there?
Oh, you mean poutine? Oh,
yeah. What is that?
Well, you guys are the ones that dip them in mayo.
Nobody dips what? Who the hell dips French fries in mayonnaise?
5 people.
I've seen it many times.
I've tried it different ways. I'm not saying I may have possibly tried it with mayo before. I'm not gonna say I've never don't ever do that. I'm just saying that ketchup is the main go-to though.
Yes.
Yeah, it's French fries and ketchup. Or if you have home style French fries, like from like a home style burger joint, some people use ranch, buttermilk ranch.
What about barbecue sauce? I've done that before.
And no, that's a degenerate thing.
But or like, what about chili? What about chili? Because is that acceptable?
Oh yeah,
chili and
chili.
maybe cheese.
Yeah, chili cheese fries. That's great.
Yeah. That's what's that? I want to say that right, poutine, but I don't want to say. Okay, I almost sound like something else, but this is a family show. So.
You don't have to say it correctly. It's not a real word. So
yeah,
is that like some sort of like what is that? Is that French Canadian?
Yeah, it was developed in I think Montreal poutine
by the Quebecois, or
well, I don't think it was by the Quebecois, but somebody in Montreal or Quebec.
It's so difficult for American speakers to get the tones right, and I mean get the just different sounding language French, and then French speakers often have a hard time with English. I've noticed.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the language
very different,
backwards from each other.
It seems like it. It seems it's like
we say the car is blue. They say blue is the car.
It's something. It's something
else. And that's like most of those the anything that's Italian, French, Spanish. They're all the grammar is backwards to ours. To English,
but Spanish language speakers tend to have a easier time with English. And English speakers seem to have a better time a lot of times learning Spanish. It seems like French is very particular about like how their vowels are pronounced, maybe. And they're kind of
French people are they're just difficult. They're just difficult in general.
Certainly, John.
Do you speak any French, Rick?
A few words. I took it in school.
Okay.
Yeah, we're told we have to take it in school, but because I never used it in my everyday life, I've lost 90% of it. Maybe 99% of it.
There's not as many French speakers in Ontario then?
No. Nowhere near. The province that has the most French speakers is Quebec. Then the rest of Canada, probably 90% of it is English.
So how do you say, where's the restroom in French?
I have no idea.
Where's that Acadian region where the Cajuns came from when they were like given the boot?
Down in Louisiana.
But they came from Canada.
Oh, they did? I think I read something like that. Yeah, I forget where.
Yeah, the English speakers, I think, gave them the boot.
I forget what happened there. We could probably find out how Cajuns came about if we looked it up. We wanted to take the time. But I don't really want to take the time right now.
Yeah, because you guys kicked him out. That's why. The Great Expulsion.
Oh, somebody's phone. John's probably.
Yeah, that's me.
Well, hello, Spain. Velmed is in the chat, and he's saying New Brunswick. That's where they came from? The Cajuns? Arcadians?
Yeah, not Arcadians, Acadian.
Acadian. The Acadian!
Guess what?
What?
Canadian football came on the scene first.
Oh.
I just watched a video, Canadian and American football.
And where did they find this video, Mom?
It was probably on some Canadian propaganda site.
Oh, Velvet says they were called Acadians up here. And my mom says she found it on YouTube. That Canadian football came about first.
That was his last comment, the guy. Except for the fact that he liked Canadian better.
The Maritimes. Where's that?
That's
Eastern Canada?
Canadian East Coast.
Okay, so that's where Acadia is.
Says here, while Lower Louisiana had been settled by French colonists since the late 17th century, the Cajuns trace their roots to the influx of Acadian settlers after the Great Expulsion from their homeland during the French and British hostilities prior to the 7 Years' War.
Acadia was a colony of New France in the northeastern North America that includes parts of eastern Quebec, the Maritime provinces, and modern-day Maine to the Kennebec River.
I have no idea.
I don't quite
What's that river?
understand that.
Remember, Nova Scotia, PEI.
Yeah, I know where the Maritimes are.
They do.
I told them, the Canadian East Coast. Although there's probably one other thing that should be included there. Newfoundland. That's where you get all the Newfie jokes from. Newfoundland. You guys have Newfie jokes down there?
No, we do not.
Oh, maybe Lorenzo's heard of Newfie jokes.
Nope, nobody has.
Are they? Isn't that part of the region where the Cajuns had the Arcadians had been from? Was
not Newfoundland.
Oh, I see. New Brunswick.
It says
Nova Scotia.
New Brunswick is officially bilingual, and at least a third of the province is of French origin. Acadians mainly from New Brunswick, also from Nova Scotia and PEI, where I am from. Newfoundland is not one of the Maritimes, but it is one of the Atlantic provinces. Okay.
It says, I guess that Acadia, it says during 1750, Wikipedia, during 1755 to 1763, well, that wasn't a very long period of time. Acadia consisted of parts of present-day Canada, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and was it Gaspé Peninsula in the province of Quebec, or is it Quebec? How do you pronounce it?
Quebec.
The deportation of the Acadians from these areas has been known as the Great Upheaval or Le Grand Derangement or something like that. Wow, the Canadians' migration from Canada was spurred by the Treaty of Paris, 1763, which ended the war. Oh boy, the treaty terms provided 18 months for unrestrained emigration. Not immigration.
What
immigration.
were the state dates again? What
It
year?
says many Acadians moved to the region of the Atacama in present-day Louisiana, often traveling via French colony of Saint Dominique, now Haiti. What were we saying? I'm sorry. Oh, well, that's loud. Sounds like we got Robbie the robot on the line. Where's all that noise coming from?
Are you talking about the? Are you talking about the airplane?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, the weird thing was that airplane went and it was going, making noise, and then Rick started roboting out.
The Canadian government had enough of Rick telling all his lies on the internet.
Rick was asking a question about Cajuns or something.
Well, I was just wondering the date again. You said that was a long date or whatever.
Well, it wasn't very long that they were mentioning for Acadia. It's like during this time, and it was like I think only a period of about like a decade. Those were all part of the same region, and now, I'm not seeing it on here. Yeah, I lost my position on the page. That's interesting, though. That
the history of Canada and the States.
Oh, it's during 1755 to 1763.
Huh.
Whether
it had anything to do with the War of 1812.
Well, it was during that time that it consisted of that Acadia consisted of the regions that I had mentioned, Nova Scotia and
because when you think about Louisiana and all that culture down there, it's not really a lot of Cajun stuff. It's a lot of it is Creole.
Well, there's also
that really kooky history that people really like about the area.
Well, there's also that let's see, the standard French speakers who had settled there. I mean, because there was the standard French that was the official language of the region before it became part of the U.S. Back when it was a French colony, there was the standard French. Then there was the Cajuns who came in. Then there's the Creoles there's this Creole language which is Creole languages are quite unique, linguistically unique. They're like when two groups of people they don't communicate with each other. Sometimes they come up with what's called a pidgin language, and then when it becomes a native language, it becomes a Creole. Mm-hmm. I have a couple of books from Cambridge University Press about this. Yeah. Which is kind of nerdy.
Okay, so this looks partially upside. Oh, you got to go head first towards the ground, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's doing like a half gainer.
Hale. What's I can't ever pronounce the name. Was it Vilned?
I say Valned.
Vale.
Vilned? Vilned. Sorry about that.
It sounds real
like a small Vale, and then the name Ned.
I'm just a sleigh stack.
Sounds Asgardian.
I barely know English. I don't know what that is. Is that
Viking-ish? It sounds very Viking-ish. Valned.
It's good to see you. Sorry about that. Not all that good with names.
And he's very close to the area of the Vikings. I think they were more in Newfoundland, though, the Vikings. Than PEI.
I know they had like went to Canada.
Oh, they were here. Vikings were up in Newfoundland before the people came across. The other people came across. Christopher Columbus and all that.
So did they like not like Canada and they left, or what was the deal?
Well, Canada wasn't even formed then.
So it was just like they were like running into indigenous people and.
Yeah. Well, they settled part. I think they were settled part of
Okay.
Newfoundland.
Did they have a hard time surviving there or something, or because I know it was like different farming techniques and stuff. I think. Oh wow.
Velnet is saying yes. Newfoundland. They have historic sites to visit, and then he said died.
Oh
I'm not sure what he means by died.
Well, I think they died off then. And maybe they starved to death, or
well,
they were probably beaten to death by the Native Americans.
Well, the Norse. They were part of what was it, Denmark or something like the Swedes or whatever.
Model 316 Vikings went to Canada. Were sickened by what they found. I mean, in all honestly, when I've been to Canada, I always enjoyed myself.
Or were they part of the Dutch before? I forget. Before they came over.
Oh, the Vikings? They were from Scandinavia. It was like Sweden and Norway.
Yeah.
And Denmark. And I don't know, Finland's got they got their own unique language, but were there Finnish Vikings? I think there may have been.
Well, the Vikings the people from there came to Canada. I guess they were Vikings before they left, and Vikings after they left. And when they settled Canada for a bit, or Newfoundland, more accurately, or where Newfoundland was or is, wasn't called Newfoundland back then, obviously.
Somebody is saying
what they would have called it. They could have went back too to Denmark.
It's a long trip, dude.
They could have left for some reason. Maybe they're all missing their families.
Maybe they just left and they kind of like crashed.
There's some arguments over whether there were any Finnish Vikings. Could there have actually been Finns among the Vikings? And somebody else was saying, no, there were not Finnish. The Scandinavians were Vikings. And so people are arguing back and forth. Because Finland's got their own language, which is not even Indo-European. It's a different language family. It's they're not. Whereas the Scandinavian languages are Germanic. Oh, and then there's Old Norse. And isn't that's what the Vikings spoke?
Yeah, they were Norse. The Norse.
And Iceland has I think their Icelandic is the closest living language. To Old Norse. It's closer than, say, Norwegian, I think, as to Old Norse. I heard something about Icelandic. They still don't have last names. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
Bjork doesn't have a last name, but does she need one?
Who?
Bjork.
Who doesn't?
The singer Bjork.
I don't know who that is.
Nobody's heard of Bjork.
Oh, I've heard of him, but I don't know who he is.
I've never even heard of him.
It's a chick. Kind of
like BJORK with like a crazy double dots.
Yeah, it's a gal, a woman. And yeah, you spelled that correctly, I think. Yeah, she was in
That's the one that went to like a fashion show in like a swan costume.
Oh, she's done all sorts of things. A very unusual, kind of an unusual style about her. Oh, she does have a last. Wow. Oh, I see what happens. So what they do is in Icelandic is I think they have the person's first name and then they say that they're the son or daughter of someone. Good Moon
Of the clan.
Moon's daughter, something like that.
Something of the clan MacLeod. So, MacLeod's the last name.
What's like with it's like people named Anderson. I think maybe their dad's name was Anders or something, and eventually became a family name.
Yeah.
Because last names are kind of a relatively new phenomenon. That I mean, through all much of history, people didn't have like Jesus. Like Jesus would have probably been,
Yeah, he would have just been Yeshua.
Yeah, and then they would say Bar.
Yeah,
and then the
Jesus
father's
Bar
name.
Joseph.
Yeah,
or Ben Joseph. Ben Hur.
Yeah, they would say something like that, and then I wasn't there like Ben would that be for women, or would that be Bat? I don't know. I know there's I can't speak Hebrew, but I know there's a bat mitzvahs for. Let's see.
Well, this is not so much about speaking Hebrew. This is just some of the grammatical stuff.
Ben.
Of how they do things.
Hebrew meaning.
Or name stuff.
Oh, Ben also means son. Let's see. Ben means. I thought bar meant son. Let's see what bar means in Hebrew. If Ben means son, then bar, wild. What? Oh. Bar does mean son, though.
What? Then maybe they both mean son. That can be a thing.
Yeah, that's very much possible. Bars
like that movie with Judah Ben-Hur.
As in a drinking establishment. What?
Well, I guess you got to make sure you're just getting the Hebrew meaning.
Oh, it sounds like bar means son in Aramaic. Okay, that's another Semitic language that Jesus would have spoken as an everyday language, whereas Hebrew was used as the official language in the synagogues or it would have been the language in the temple, actually.
Yeah.
And then in the synagogues, they had people actually doing this translation into Aramaic so that people could understand what was going on. And later on, that was written down, and they call it the Targums, I think. Targum. And that was like a translation, and like I think there were interpretations given to when translating, like what people thought the scriptures actually meant when they translated it.
Yeah.
So that's something that some scholars use when they translate the Bible, is the Aramaic Targums, I think. I could have the wrong word completely wrong, which I guess I got.
Wow! Hey, Rick, yeah. I got to dip out of here. I'll see you later, man.
Okay, later, John.
Good seeing you.
You want a show for yourself before you leave? You can find him over at John Dillard Draws. If you want to see more of his art, for those that do not already know who he is.
So the Valned says, "Love Bjork."
Yeah,
it's so quiet. Shh. Dancer in the Dark is an interesting movie with her. I think she's amazing. I just really
don't think so. I might have seen her, might not have. Unfortunately, I don't get into all the actors and actresses.
Well, she was in this like an independent, this indie rock band called the Birthday Party, and they there were some Icelandic versions of their songs. Like maybe they was sometimes she would record in two different. She'd record in Icelandic, which was quite beautiful, and then she'd do an English version.
Uh,
I like the sound of Icelandic. It's kind of nice. I think it's beautiful.
yes.
It's different than German. German seems it comes across as a little gruff to me. Kind of cool though, but it's
Yeah.
different.
Oh, I think I'm going to. I've been here over 2 hours now, so I think I'm going to stop for now. I'm not sure whether I'm probably will put it in. Might be on some streams tonight or whatever.
Well, that sounds cool.
So I will catch everybody later. You want to show for yourself or somebody else?
Well, yeah,
For your channel or
yeah, I'm gonna yeah. You can find me Lorenzo Sleestack on YouTube. You can find me same name on Facebook, and it's Lorenzo Sleestack, all one word, on Twitter. And there's also Lorenzo Sleestack on was it Instagram?
All right.
Gosh, I'm blanking out now. I need some coffee.
Yeah, I know so many different social media things to remember.
You're both a little bit tired, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And Good Dog Press, that's an excellent show. Of course, Chester Bisbee has a great show. There's Misfit Corner Comics.
Oh yeah.
There's Illustration by Design. Check those all out if you want. There's other things I forgot, but
Okay, and I am Rick Piper of Cross Comics here Monday through Friday doing a drawing. Tomorrow I have been requested to do Seth from Radiant for the Anime Magna Day, and I will add in a character of Cross Comics. As you see today, I did Catwoman with my character, my villain called Cat. She's part of a villain team, Kit and Cat. And she's been genetically modified. So see you everybody. Have a great
yeah, take care.
day.
I'd like to hear more about that character sometime.